Korea, a Shining World Leadership Award for Compassion Laureate, supports humanitarian air services in Africa during COVID-19. The Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs has contributed $2.5 million to the United Nations World Food Programme, or WFP, in support of the United Nations Humanitarian Air Services, or UNHA's, continued operation in Nigeria, Cameroon, Sudan, and Chad. The funding allows the UNHAs to reach remote areas and ensure that vital medical equipment is delivered to those most affected by the pandemic. Each year, the UNHAS transports over 110,000 passengers and 380 megatons of relief supplies in these countries to assist remote communities in need of humanitarian aid. Thank you, Korea and the United Nations Humanitarian Air Services. May all our sisters and brothers be cared for during challenging times as we pray for heaven's protection and strength.
Study finds livestock grazing reduces biodiversity. Researchers from Canada's University of Alberta examined the effect of livestock grazing on native animals and plants in every continent except Antarctica by analyzing more than 100 independent studies. The findings, published in the journal Ecology Letters, revealed that herbivore and pollinator biodiversity reduced worldwide where livestock graze, indicating further repercussions to the other groups in natural ecosystems. This replacement effect, where the role of herbivores is occupied by livestock, can decrease vertebrate abundance and invertebrate diversity. Some species of pollinators such as flies, bees, butterflies, and beetles became especially vulnerable. Our appreciation, University of Alberta researchers, for the important investigation into understanding the harmful effects of livestock grazing. We pray all humanity quickly switches to a vegan diet so that nature's balance can be restored in divine grace.
Scientists discover certain landscapes attract wild pollinators. Germany's University of Göttingen's agroecologist conducted research published in the Journal of Applied Ecology to determine how the structure of crop fields affects the populations of major pollinators, such as bumblebees, solitary wild bees, and hoverflies. After analyzing 9 selected landscapes in Göttingen, the researchers found that planting flower strips on the margin of conventional crops in smaller fields had a beneficial effect on bumblebee reproduction and plant richness. It was also found that organic fields would encourage more pollinators with increased area. The European Union is funding organic farming and the growing of flower strips in an attempt to increase the number of wild bees and hoverflies. What a remarkable discovery, University of Göttingen researchers. We're also grateful for the European Union's protective efforts. In celestial care, may all lovely little pollinators thrive as we become better guardians of our sacred earth home.
Seychelles Island citizens to plant 100,000 trees this year. Citizens from Praslin, an island in the Seychelles archipelago, will plant 100,000 trees this year as part of a greater reforestation project implemented by the local environmental group Terrestrial Restoration Action Society of Seychelles, TRAS, which plans to eventually plant 500,000 trees, initiated by the Seychelles Employee Transition Scheme to also help create jobs. The endeavor will involve people who were previously working in the tourism sector. Several teams are allocated to different tasks, including some to look after the small plants, those to collect humus and soil, and a group to gather seeds and propagation material. We applaud your project benefiting both your people and environment, Seychelles. May your efforts bear fruit and bring out your isle's immaculate beauty even more, in God's splendor.
President of Portugal helps rescue 2 women cast adrift at sea. The President of Portugal, His Excellency Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, recently helped to rescue 2 women who had become stranded in the ocean after getting caught in a current and their kayak capsized. His Excellency was visiting Algarve Beach as part of his efforts to promote tourism in the country. After being interviewed by journalists, the 71-year young president caught sight of the struggling women and immediately immediately swam to their rescue. Another man was also assisting, and a jet skier came after him to help tow the kayak back to the shore. Many thanks, Your Excellency Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, for your unhesitating heroism and noble example. May charming Portugal prosper through your wise leadership, in heaven's gentle guidance.
Supreme Master Ching Hai joyfully presents His Excellency Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, President of Portugal, the Shining World Caring Leadership Award, with high praises, esteem, and best wishes in God's love.
United States food supplier adds vegan options. US-based food supplier Hormel Foods Corporation, with a global presence across 75 countries, recently added a range of vegan meat substitutes, including fully cooked crumbles in flavors such as Italian, traditional, chorizo, and breakfast. The company also offers an uncooked plant-based ground beef substitute that can be formed into patties for burgers, added to pasta sauces, and more. Made from pea protein, the products are flavored with various natural herbs and spices. Hormel Foods Director of Sales, Paul Sheehan, stated, "These new items allow food manufacturers to explore how easy it is to add the power of plant-based ingredients to a variety of applications." Such exciting news, Hormel Foods, on the release of your delicious plant-based meat offerings. In divine understanding, may all food companies join the compassionate movement and soon go 100% vegan out of love for our animal co-inhabitants.
Australia welcomes new Koala National Park. The Government of New South Wales, or NSW, recently announced the creation of Boolanura National Park to protect koalas and hopefully increase their population. The park's name means Koala Country in the Gadiangara Aboriginal people's language, the traditional keepers of the land on which the park is located. Covering 3,358 hectares, most of the park's land was purchased by the New South Wales government for environmental conservation. Local conservation groups are recommending that the government protect more land to ensure the survival of the iconic Australian species, while the state's Minister for Energy and Environment, the Honourable Matt Keane, pledged, "This is just the beginning, we have a lot more to do." New South Wales is a Shining World Leadership Award for Protection recipient and a Shining World Leadership Awards for Compassion and Caring laureate. Our accolades, New South Wales Government, on your new national park for the beloved koalas. May all your precious native animals thrive in God's tender love.